right up where we left off. She was giving me the signal to get off, and that's what the distraction was on the other video.
Sorry.
So the evidence that we found there may have nothing to do with what we assumed that it was when we found it. But we did find some physical evidence at the cave. And moving on, if he was killed on up the hill or toward the top of the hill, his body, there've never been a physical body or a grave that's been marked Asa Harmon McCoy, just like Jim Vance, Wall Hatfield, Ellison Hatfield, Ellison Cotton Top Hatfield. Mm-hmm. Some of these people, you know, back in them days, leave them lay. Leave them lay. Some families, especially if you had to go up in the mountains to retrieve their bodies or this and that, or if they left them there overnight and the coyotes or something got to them first, it was a different time. We don't know what happened. We know that there's no grave for Asa Harmon McCoy. We know where there's a grave unmarked, only one in a cemetery that's real close, that's been there since the beginning of that cemetery, and it was unmarked when it was there, but it's on private property. They don't want no attention, and we'll respect that. May or may not be Asa Harmon's. So remember, Big Sam was alive and well at the time. He knew and talked to all the family members in the end. Big Sam says that Ance Hatfield and Jim Vance killed his uncle Asa Harmon. That's what Big Sam McCoy says in his book. He says that in his book, that Devil Ance Hatfield and Jim Vance were two of many that killed his uncle Asa Harmon. That's everything but an eyewitness. That's everything but an eyewitness. His wife, Patsy, says they showed up. Patsy talked to him. She talked to Jim Vance. She talked to Ance Hatfield. Where's Harmon at? They asked. Where's Harmon? She wouldn't tell them. They just looked for the footprints and start following them up. And that's how they got him. So that should give rest to the story that Devil Ance didn't kill him, Jim Vance didn't kill him. They wasn't there because Patsy Cline says that they were there. She's an eyewitness. Why would she make a story like that up about Devil Ance as mean as he was or Jim Vance as mean as he was if it wasn't true? Why would she want somebody coming after her for making up lies like that about him? She wouldn't. She wouldn't. This was a widow. Says when the case went to court, Randall won the case. We're on the pig trial. Sam McCoy says when the pig trial went to court, that Randall actually won. He says that Randall brought Hence Scott and his brother John Scott into the court, and they testified. The story was that Randall McCoy had Hence and John at his house, castrating some hogs, some shoats that he had there, and the mother, the pigs, I don't know if any of you's ever witnessed this. Well, probably not, unless you're from the hills, or a pony being castrated, a calf being castrated, and especially a pig being castrated. A pig will squeal like no other. The mother breaks out of the lot and she takes off. She takes off. And that's the pig that escaped. That's the pig that got away. That's the pig that Floyd Hatfield ended up with Randall McCoy's notch on its ear. Sam McCoy says that Randall brought Hence and John Scott to court, and they testified that that's the pig that they saw in the lot. That was the mother to the Schultz that they were castrating on that day. And Sam McCoy says in his book that Randall McCoy won the case. Now, that's a lot different from the stories we've heard throughout the years. And again, you got to go with the evidence. There is no evidence. There's no evidence of a pig trial other than folklore, the stories people's been told. And you know how Sheila and I feel about that. We know that Preacher Ance was the justice of peace. We know that the stories of the 6 Hatfields, the 6 McCoys, has that just made for an interesting story throughout the years? Where Selkirk jumped ship because he was married to the Hatfields. He lived in West Virginia and he worked for Devil Ance. Who knows?
Right.
This is a story that we'll never know the complete truth to, but
Exactly.
Sam McCoy was there. That's different from the stories that we've read and heard throughout the years in people's book, including Sheila's and mine.
Right. I agree.
Because it can't be proven either way. There's no court documents either way. They don't exist. But Sam McCoy was living at that time. Why would he make it up? He don't make it up on anything else. You'll see later on where he takes up for the Hatfields. Sam McCoy says that one of the best friends he ever had in his whole life was Ellison Hatfield.
Yeah.
Interesting statement.
Yeah.
He takes up for the Hatfields. Randall McCoy gets ready to kill some of them when they rounded them up. Sam McCoy, Big Sam, takes up for him. He don't want Randall McCoy to kill him. You'll hear where he tells Randall, I thought we agreed that if they surrendered, nobody would be hurt. If you're going to act like this, if you're going to start killing them, then tell me now so I can get on my horse and ride home. Randall didn't kill none of them. You're going to find this story interesting. Like I said, it's probably going to go into 3 parts, 4 parts. I don't know. We'll let it go wherever it goes.
That's right.
This is history. This is an eyewitness right here. Proving they were Uncle Randall's pigs. Of course, most common version came out in the trial. You know, in 1878, when that pig trial took place, a lot of people overlook the first pig trial. And Sheila and I try to bring that out because there's court documents. We don't have no court documents on 1878 pig case, pig trial. But we've got court documents for 1867 pig trial where Asa Peter McCoy charged Ellison Hatfield and 3 of his friends for stealing 4 of his hogs.
Yeah.
That's evidence. That's physical court record evidence that in 1867 they'd already stole 4 pigs from a McCoy. Why wouldn't they do it again in 1878? Big Sam says that Johnsy got indicted in Pike County. Some of the McCoys who were now Pike County deputy sheriffs got the warrants. The warrants come down. It was in their area. Well, we got to serve this warrant. It's on Johnsy Hatfield. And they arrested Johnsy Hatfield, started to Pike County with him. West Virginia Hatfield gang. The Hatfield gang overtook them, came across to Kentucky and overtook them, and they took Johnsy back to West Virginia with them. They broke Johnsy free. You know, everybody talks about what a law-abiding, law-loving Devil Anse was. Really? He takes the 3 McCoys hostage, kills them, ties them to trees. Here, he took the McCoys, whether it's McCoys or not, forget that. Pike County deputy sheriffs arrested a West Virginia Hatfield on a Kentucky warrant. Innocent, guilty. Who knows? But the proper procedure was to arrest him, take him to jail. He goes to court, stand trial, guilty or not guilty. That's the way the law works. What's Devil Anse do? And the Hatfield gang. They overtook the deputies, Hatfield, McCoy, Smiths. It don't matter what their last name is. They overtook the police, and they broke the prisoner loose.
Yeah.
Now there's stories where made the deputies get down on their knees and beg, except Big Jim McCoy, Randall McCoy's oldest son. I bow to no man, Sam says. He wouldn't do it. Would that cause hard feelings if that did take place? Of course it would. And you know, it just backs up the stories that we heard through the years on Randall McCoy Jr. This would have been around 1880 when they arrested Johnsy. They didn't kill the McCoy boys for 2 more years, but it says that Devil Anse held guns on them and told the posse there, the deputies, get down on your knees, and humiliated them, except for Big Jim McCoy. Big Jim McCoy says he bows to no man. He didn't bow. But remember, 2 years later, Devil Anse told Randall McCoy Jr.,
Yeah.
the innocent boy, 15-year-old boy, after he killed his two brothers.
Yeah.
Get on your knees and beg and I'll let you live. He says, to hell with you, Hatfields. He shoots and kills them. That's what you call a person's past often predicts their future. In police work, you want to know a person's character, look at their friends. There's all kinds of things in police work that you learn throughout the years that will tell you a lot about people. And that tells me that the story, which was folklore about devil ants, telling Randall McCoy Jr., the 15-year-old, I'm giving you a way out. Get on your knees and beg and I'll let you live. Because he didn't want to kill the 15-year-old. He didn't want to kill him because he was innocent. By that time he found out. He says, to hell with you, Hatfields, or devil ants, or whatever he said, somewhere to that effect. I wasn't there. Sheila wasn't there.
Nope.
That's the story. Now you put that story along with the story that took place when they rescued Johnsy away from the posse. Makes sense. Makes sense. Big Sam says it was all he could do, holding Randall McCoy back from killing those responsible for killing his children and beating his wife. The first man we caught were Andy Varney. That's not my wording. The first man we caught were Andy Varney. Randolph raised his gun to shoot Andy. I caught his gun and told him, he's a prisoner, Uncle Randall. We have to treat him as such. Big Sam grabbed Randall McCoy's gun. Now imagine, this is only 8 days after his wife's been beat, his home's been burnt, 2 more of his children's been killed. Randall McCoy runs up on one of them, suspected in the cabin massacre. He raises his gun to shoot him. Whoa, he's done gave up. He's not fighting us. He's not shooting back, Uncle Randall. You can't kill him. That's the first time. Here's your Randall McCoy that everybody talks about running from the cabin. Randall McCoy here's your Randall McCoy. Here's the real Randall McCoy. I told Andy, the McCoys are not here to kill people and burn their homes, Big Sam says. We went down to Buck Creek, Sam says. That's where Frank Phillips, Jim McCoy, who was Uncle Randall's son, and some of the other guys in the posse were located. Remember, when they burnt the cabin down, the posses came from everywhere. Big Creek, Peter Creek, Blackberry, McCar, Pond Creek. People came from everywhere to join that posse then. People that had not taken a stand in no feud or no fighting or no hard feelings, but when they come across the river from West Virginia and burned a man's house and shot 2 more of his children, they come out of the woodwork.
Beat his wife.
Beat his wife. They come out of the woodwork. They didn't only have enough man for one posse. They had 2, 3, 4 posses. Go in different directions. Round them up. Get them all. So they went down to, Sam says they went on down to Buck Creek, where Frank McCoy and Frank Phillips and Jim McCoy was, thanks babe, who was Uncle Randall's son, and some of the other guys in the posse were located. They had found Valentine Wall Hatfield, one of the ringleaders in the Pawpaw Tree assassination of Randall and Sarah's 3 sons back in 1882. This is Big Sam talking. He was there. And he says they went down there and they found Valentine Wall Hatfield. Now you got to remember, the movie says, you'll collect no bounty on me, Frank Phillips. Yeah, bull crap. We've got the paper downstairs showing where Frank Phillips was paid $100 bounty for arresting Valentine Wall Hatfield. But you'll see stories where some of the West Virginia Hatfield offspring have said, oh, Valentine turned himself in. He wasn't guilty. He didn't do nothing. No, Valentine was arrested. Valentine Wall Hatfield was almost killed. He was almost killed that day. Let me read it in his words. Well, sounds like justice was finally being served. Along with these 1882 Kentucky murder indictment warrants, the Kentucky posse arrested Wall and 2 of his sons, Pliant and Doc Mahon. Sam McCoy says, here's Sam McCoy's book. Uncle Randall once again raised his gun, preparing to shoot the 3 men. And once again, I caught his gun, and I said, Uncle Randall, is this the way you are going to carry on? I'm going to read this word for word, so I'm sorry for being rude looking down. But he says, Uncle Randall, is this the way you're going to carry on? You promised you would listen to me. I see it flashing. My phone's flashing over there.
Okay.
It's distracting me, but we did not come over here to West Virginia to kill women and children, nor burn their houses down. Big Sam continues in his memoirs. Now tell me, are you going to do as promised? If not, say so, and I'll get on my horse and ride home. I am not going to be associated with no such crowd that will allow any such to happen this way. Not after they have surrendered. Uncle Randall said, well, I reckon we'll have it your own way. And he lowered the gun. He lowered the gun. You know, again, Randall was a Christian man. Randall was a law-abiding man. No doubt his human instinct and fatherly instinct almost overwhelmed him. I'd say that in the end, after it's all over with, Randall McCoy and his oldest son, Jim McCoy, because you're going to hear about Jim McCoy here in a little bit. The one that the Oklahoma Hatfield is seen on one of our boards dedicating with his arm up here on this historical plaque up in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. And he gave them the incorrect history on Jim McCoy. Jim McCoy was on these raids for revenge like his father. He was on these raids for justice, to bring these guys to hold them accountable, ever how they wanted to be held accountable. They could either surrender or they could shoot it out. Jim McCoy didn't care neither. You'll hear about him after a while. But up there in that Catlettsburg Cemetery is a historical marker. It says, here lies a peacemaker. He went on the raids to keep the peace. See, they got the wrong historical marker for the wrong person. Sam McCoy was there to keep the peace. Not Randall, not Jim McCoy. Jim McCoy was there for his brothers and sisters, for his mother, for his father. But that historical marker that's incorrectly stated has got the wrong person. That will be there forevermore. And we've proved it wrong with newspaper articles, with everything else out there. We knew Jim McCoy, what he was there for. And you'll hear it probably in part 3. But you'll hear when they're getting ready to kill Jim Vance, what's going on, which is interesting.
Okay.
But, you know, no doubt that later on, after it was all over with, Randall McCoy and Jim McCoy, his son, were glad that things worked out like they did, that they didn't kill people that wasn't resisting. You're going to hear what happened to people that did resist. But those that gave up, those that surrendered, Randall McCoy kept his word to Sam. He didn't kill none of them. If they surrendered, they were taken captive and taken to jail. Now we should be up to about 20 minutes, and we're gonna stop this video here, and we're gonna pick right up where we're at with part 3. I'm sorry to do that to you, but some people says they don't like the long videos, and I would prefer that you watch. This is interesting. This is history. This is from an eyewitness, and it gets it. We've not even got to the good part, so continue to watch.
Stay tuned for part 3.